Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
The general atmosphere of a place or situation and the effect that it has on people. An intuitive understanding of something. He had a great feeling for music. A vague idea in which some confidence is placed. What are your feelings about the crisis? The sensation produced by pressure receptors in the skin. The surface had a greasy feeling. A physical sensation that you experience. He had a queasy feeling. The experiencing of affective and emotional states. She had a feeling of euphoria. The general atmosphere of a place or situation and the effect that it has on people. The feel of the city excited him. Examine by touch. Come to believe on the basis of emotion, intuitions, or indefinite grounds. I feel that he doesn't like me. Perceive by a physical sensation, e.g., coming from the skin or muscles. Examine a body part by palpation. A property perceived by touch. Undergo an emotional sensation or be in a particular state of mind. An intuitive awareness. He has a feel for animals. Be conscious of a physical, mental, or emotional state. My cold is gone, I feel fine today. Be felt or perceived in a certain way. The ground feels shaky. Find by testing or cautious exploration. Grope or feel in search of something. Have a feeling or perception about oneself in reaction to someone's behavior or attitude. You make me feel naked. Manual stimulation of the genital area for sexual pleasure. The girls hated it when he tried to sneak a feel. Pass one's hands over the sexual organs of. Produce a certain impression. It feels nice to be home again. Undergo passive experience of. Physics, the 6 kinds of quarks. The general atmosphere of a place or situation and the effect that it has on people. The taste experience when a savory condiment is taken into the mouth. Lend flavor to. Physics, the 6 kinds of quarks. The general atmosphere of a place or situation and the effect that it has on people. The taste experience when a savory condiment is taken into the mouth. Lend flavor to. Take charge of or deal with. The general atmosphere of a place or situation and the effect that it has on people. Have faith or confidence in. Give a certain impression or have a certain outward aspect. This project looks fishy. Look forward to the probable occurrence of. She is looking to a promotion. The feelings expressed on a person's face. A look of triumph. Be oriented in a certain direction, often with respect to another reference point, be opposite to. The house looks north. Search or seek. We looked all day and finally found the child in the forest. The act of directing the eyes toward something and perceiving it visually. He went out to have a look. Accord in appearance with. You don't look your age. Convey by one's expression. She looked her devotion to me. Have a certain outward or facial expression. How does she look? Perceive with attention. Direct one's gaze towards. She looked over the expanse of land. Physical appearance. I don't like the looks of this place. Any property detected by the olfactory system. The general atmosphere of a place or situation and the effect that it has on people. It had the smell of treason. The faculty that enables us to distinguish scents. The act of perceiving the odor of something. Have an element suggestive of something. This passage smells of plagiarism. The sensation that results when olfactory receptors in the nose are stimulated by particular chemicals in gaseous form. She loved the smell of roses. Become aware of not through the senses but instinctively. I smell trouble. Emit an odor. The soup smells good. Inhale the odor of. Perceive by the olfactory sense. Smell bad. He rarely washes, and he smells. The general atmosphere of a place or situation and the effect that it has on people. Any incorporeal supernatural being that can become visible, or audible, to human beings. Infuse with spirit. The company spirited him up. Animation and energy in action or expression. The state of a person's emotions, especially with regard to pleasure or dejection. He was in good spirits. An inclination or tendency of a certain kind. The intended meaning of a communication. A fundamental emotional and activating principle determining one's character. The vital principle or animating force within living things. A quality of a given color that differs slightly from another color. The elastic tension of living muscles, arteries, etc. that facilitate response to stimuli. The general atmosphere of a place or situation and the effect that it has on people. A clergyman improved the tone of the meeting. A notation representing the pitch and duration of a musical sound. Give a healthy elasticity to. Let's tone our muscles. Music. The distinctive property of a complex sound, a voice or noise or musical sound. The muffled tones of the broken bell summoned them to meet. A musical interval of two semitones. The quality of a person's voice. He began in a conversational tone. Vary the pitch of one's speech. Utter monotonously and repetitively and rhythmically. A steady sound without overtones. They tested his hearing with pure tones of different frequencies. Change the color or tone of. Tone a negative. Change to a color image. Tone a photographic image. Linguistics. A pitch or change in pitch of the voice that serves to distinguish words in tonal languages. The Beijing dialect uses 4 tones. The quality of something, an act or a piece of writing, that reveals the attitudes and presuppositions of the author. The general tone of articles appearing in the newspapers is that the government should withdraw. An intuitive understanding of something. A vague idea in which some confidence is placed. It strengthened my belief in his sincerity. Any cognitive content held as true. A concavity in a surface produced by pressing. He left the impression of his fingers in the soft mud. A symbol that is the result of printing or engraving. An outward appearance. He made a good impression. A clear and telling mental image. The events left a permanent impression in his mind. All the copies of a work printed at one time. A vague idea in which some confidence is placed. His impression of her was favorable. An impressionistic portrayal of a person. He did a funny impression of a politician. Dentistry, an imprint of the teeth and gums in wax or plaster. The dentist took an impression for use in preparing an inlay. The act of pressing one thing on or into the surface of another. He watched the impression of the seal on the hot wax. A vague idea in which some confidence is placed. An odd or fanciful or capricious idea. The theatrical notion of disguise is associated with disaster in his stories. A general inclusive concept. Usually plural, small personal articles or clothing or sewing items. Buttons and needles or notions. The reason for a court's judgment, as opposed to the decision itself. The legal document stating the reasons for a judicial decision. Opinions are usually written by a single judge. A personal belief or judgment that is not founded on proof or certainty. My opinion differs from yours. A message expressing a belief about something. The expression of a belief that is held with confidence but not substantiated by positive knowledge or proof. His opinions appeared frequently on the editorial page. A belief or sentiment shared by most people. The voice of the people. He asked for a poll of public opinion. A vague idea in which some confidence is placed. The sensation produced by pressure receptors in the skin. The faculty of perceiving, via the skin, pressure or heat or pain. The sensation produced by pressure receptors in the skin. A distinguishing style. This room needs a woman's touch. Make a more or less disguised reference to. Consume. She didn't touch her food all night. The event of something coming in contact with the body. He longed for the touch of her hand. Be relevant to. A suggestion of some quality. There was a touch of sarcasm in his tone. Have an effect upon. The act of putting two things together with no space between them. At his touch the room filled with lights. Be equal to in quality or ability. Your performance doesn't even touch that of your colleagues. A communicative interaction. He got in touch with his colleagues. A slight attack of illness. He has a touch of rheumatism. Affect emotionally. I was touched by your kind letter of sympathy. The faculty by which external objects or forces are perceived through contact with the body, especially the hands. Only sight and touch enable us to locate objects in the space around us. Tamper with. Don't touch my CDs. To extend as far as. The chair must not touch the wall. A slight but appreciable amount. This dish could use a touch of garlic. Be in direct physical contact with. Make contact. The two buildings touch. The sensation produced by pressure receptors in the skin. She likes the touch of silk on her skin. Color lightly. Cause to be in brief contact with. He touched his toes to the horse's flanks. Comprehend. He could not touch the meaning of the poem. Deal with. Usually used with a form of negation. I wouldn't touch her with a 10-foot pole. Deftness in handling matters. He has a master's touch. Make physical contact with, come in contact with. She never touched her husband. Perceive via the tactile sense. Helen Keller felt the physical world by touching people and objects around her. The act of soliciting money, as a gift or loan. He watched the beggar trying to make a touch. The feel of mechanical action. This piano has a wonderful touch. The sensation produced by pressure receptors in the skin. A particular environment or surrounding influence. There was an atmosphere of excitement. The mass of air surrounding the Earth. There was great heat as the comet entered the atmosphere. The weather or climate at some place. The atmosphere was thick with fog. A distinctive but intangible quality surrounding a person or thing. An atmosphere of defeat pervaded the candidate's headquarters. A unit of pressure. The pressure that will support a column of mercury 760 mm high at sea level and 0 degrees centigrade. The envelope of gases surrounding any celestial body. The atmosphere of an environment. A particular environment or surrounding influence. The atmosphere of an environment. A particular environment or surrounding influence. An impression that something might be the case. He had an intuition that something had gone wrong. Instinctive knowing, without the use of rational processes. Music, melodic subject of a musical composition. The accompanist picked up the idea and elaborated it. An approximate calculation of quantity or degree or worth. A rough idea how long it would take. The content of cognition, the main thing you are thinking about. It was not a good idea. Your intention, what you intend to do. The idea of the game is to capture all the pieces. A personal view. He has an idea that we don't like him. A personal belief or judgment that is not founded on proof or certainty. What are your thoughts on Haiti? The content of cognition, the main thing you are thinking about. The thought never entered my mind. The process of using your mind to consider something carefully. She paused for thought. The organized beliefs of a period or group or individual. 19th century thought. Becoming aware of something via the senses. The representation of what is perceived, basic component in the formation of a concept. A way of conceiving something. Luther had a new perception of the Bible. Knowledge gained by perceiving. A man admired for the depth of his perception. The process of perceiving. The faculty of bodily perception, sensory systems associated with the body, includes skin senses and proprioception and the internal organs. The perception of tactual or proprioceptive or gut sensations. He relied on somaesthesia to warn him of pressure changes. The perception of tactual or proprioceptive or gut sensations. The faculty of bodily perception. Sensory systems associated with the body. Include skin senses and proprioception and the internal organs. The perception of tactual or proprioceptive or gut sensations. The faculty of bodily perception. Sensory systems associated with the body. Include skin senses and proprioception and the internal organs. The perception of tactual or proprioceptive or gut sensations. Indicate through a symbol, formula, etc. The territory occupied by a nation. A politically organized body of people under a single government. The state has elected a new president. Chemistry. The three traditional states of matter are solids, fixed shape and volume, and liquids, fixed volume and shaped by the container, and gases, filling the container. The solid state of water is called ice. The territory occupied by one of the constituent administrative districts of a nation. His state is in the deep south. Put before. The federal department in the United States that sets and maintains foreign policies. Express in words. State your opinion. A state of depression or agitation. He was in such a state you just couldn't reason with him. The group of people comprising the government of a sovereign state. The state has lowered its income tax. The way something is with respect to its main attributes. The current state of knowledge. The spirit of the time. The spirit characteristic of an age or generation. A district of Los Angeles long associated with the American film industry. A flashy vulgar tone or atmosphere believed to be characteristic of the American film industry. Flashy and vulgar. The film industry of the United States. Of or relating to the film industry in the United States.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.